Everyone, one way or the other, wants to be important or valuable, or even the both. But what does it really mean to be valuable? I'll tell you. Hello, people. You're welcome back to my channel. It's so good to have you here. You're welcome to the channel where you get to learn about your emotions, attitude, and tact. And for free. For free, oh. Of course. Thank you so much for coming back. Today we are going to be discussing a very interesting topic: being valuable. Come with me as we continue. Being valuable, what does it mean to be valuable? It's simply having qualities that have positive impact on people and the world around you in such a way that these qualities are recognizable and appreciated by these people. On the other hand, when you say something is important, it's significant, yes, it matters, yes, but not all important things are valuable, right? Yes, things that are valuable can be important. So once a thing is important and then it's considered useful or a thing of worth, then you can say that thing is valuable. But once a thing is important doesn't make it valuable. I'll give you an instance. Have you ever been in the space of creatives, like not just creatives, like diehard creatives, people that are so into art and they appreciate art so much? Art means a lot to them and they don't mind paying a fortune for that artwork, right? Have you ever seen these historical artifacts and then they're hanging and people are appreciating them? And yes, it's important to them at that point, but we can't really term it valuable in terms of daily use, right? The best that can happen is, oh, okay, the person can buy it, and most times they're very expensive. Have you ever seen these historical artifacts and then they're hanging and people are appreciating them? And yes, it's important to them at that point, but we can't really term it valuable in terms of daily use, right? The best that can happen is, oh, okay, the person can buy it, and most times they're very expensive, right? But on a grand scheme of things, in terms of daily use, we might not consider that historical artifact of value. So I said all that to say that while it is important to work towards being important to yourself, to people, to the world around you, and to God, there is a better place to be. And that's a place where you are considered valuable, a place of value. Okay, so I'll give you another illustration just to buttress the point a little bit more. Imagine you're stranded on a deserted island, and somehow in the midst on your journey, you get hold of a diamond. Probably you struck diamond or you just found it hidden somewhere, and then you also get hold of salt. At that point, that diamond is rare, it is expensive, it is highly priced, right? At that point, that diamond is important, but it's useless because who diamond help in the desert, I beg? It is useless at that point. But you see that salt, cheap, ordinary salt, it can go a long way in preserving, a person in the desert, right? When you take salt in the desert, it regulates your blood pressure. It also helps in retaining water because you'll be losing a lot of, water, heat, and all of that. It can help you to retain, water. So at that point, the salt, ordinary salt, cheap salt, is more useful to you than the almighty diamond, right? So you see, that's just a perfect description of what I'm trying to say. The diamond is important, the salt is also important, but at that point, the salt is more useful and the salt is more valuable, right? I'll give one more example, and this one might just shake. Let's just shatter this table, shall we? All right, let's go. So, okay, imagine you're attending an event. These events where where you find the high and mighty, and for some reasons your eyes on that event. You really, really just want to be there. You have not really earned, will I say, what you should, to attend that event. You've not gathered the qualities required to be, to be able to attend that event. You've never made any attempt. You just woke up one morning and say, you see this event, I want to be there because the high and might will be there. I want to be in the same space with them so I can take selfies and post on social media, and so that people will know that I also attended this event. People know what I'm talking about, right? So let's just act like we all know. Let's destroy this thing once and for all. Okay, so somehow you lobby to get a VIP badge. And because without the VIP badge, you can't attend the event. And you eventually, get to be at the event, and somehow you're just seated and you're looking around and you're like, how come people are just greeting this particular set of people? Nobody is even coming my way. Nobody is even saying hello to me. What's going on? And then you're looking at yourself and probably you're already feeling bad and having low self-esteem. Like, what is it? So I'll tell you what happened is that badge you're carrying, or that badge that granted you entrance into that event, was very important, and you held on to it. But unfortunately, you now that is carrying the badge, or you that has the badge on, you are not valuable. Yeah, sorry, but that is it. You're not valuable. Even if maybe you have, worked on yourself, but not to the point where these people have recognized it and these people appreciate it. Just there, you didn't even make any effort, you're just seated and you want people to just come to you and be greeting you as, how now, who are you? Oh no, you have to be able to put yourself together and work on yourself to be able to get that kind of attention. And that's when they say people are valuable. And the thing about valuable people is they would naturally attract, attract people, naturally attract, because they are givers, right? So they are giving energy, and because they are giving energy, people would naturally respond to the energy they are giving. Okay, so what makes a person valuable? Today I'm going to share 4 key things that can make a person valuable. Number 1, character. You see, the first step to being valuable is having good character. You see these core values we are shouting every day, core values, core values, core values. And I wonder, what are these people talking about? They say be a person of integrity. You say, who integrity help? They say, be honest. You say, abeg, leave matter for Matthias. Okay. Be empathetic. Say, when you feel like, if you're not in the mood, you will not be. If you don't feel like it, just forget it. You will be empathetic when you want to be, when you feel like it. Hey. This one is not a joke. Oh. You want to be valuable, but you don't want to be intentional about character. You want to be valuable, but you don't want to be intentional about your character. Are you ready at all? Even the Bible says in Proverbs 22:1, it says, even a good name is better than riches, right? If, a group of people are to talk about you, if your name is to be mentioned, what are the first 3 things that come to the mind of people? Those are your core values. Those are your core values. You don't even have to open your mouth to say it to them. It's what they've seen. It's what they've seen you do. It's what they've seen you say. It's what they've seen you live by. That is what they define you by, right? And that is the thing about character. You see, a mirror would never lie to you. A mirror, you see, mirror. In fact, that is a true reflection of who you are when no one is watching, right? And that's the thing about mirror. Most times, before people come outside, they use the mirror. I've never really seen, well, maybe just few houses where the mirror is in the living room or the mirror is in a very public place. Most times the mirror is in your room or in the bathroom or in the toilet, in those kind of intimate places where many times it's just you and you, or you and close people, close family members, right? And have you ever wondered why? Is first of all, you get to look at yourself. You get to see your true self, right? And then you come out to live by, all that you have seen in the mirror is what we eventually see outside. So you can't see a different thing in the mirror and then come out to become a different thing from what you've seen outside. All right. So what I'm trying to say is when people are not watching, what are the things you live by? Right? When people are not looking at you, what are the things you live by? What are the things you can say? What are the things you say? What are the things you do when no one is watching? Recently, I stumbled on a video that Smazi Tunde had not posted. A video of a guy backflipping. I don't know if you've seen that video. I'll just put it somewhere here on the screen. So I saw the video. The guy was backflipping, but it was not even the video that was the point. It was the caption or the question someone asked in the comments. So somebody asked the guy, "What if the cameraman forgets?" Or "What if the cameraman forgets or forgot? Forgets." English, God, I'm very good. Okay, so what if the cameraman forgets to press the play button or the record button? And this guy flipped almost how many times I can't even remember. He kept flipping continuously. And when I saw that video, the first thing that came to my mind was, if he did it before, he would do it again. Same guy back then. Same guy would do it again. Well, that was just an enlightened note. But what I actually thought when I saw that video was there were times where this guy was doing this thing without the camera, right? So the camera in this case can represent the mirror, right? Or the lens through which people outside are seeing, the things now. So before there is a phone camera, there is a mirror. So if this guy must have done, this flip continuously, when nobody was watching, that's with his mirror, when nobody was watching, or maybe his mirror could have been a loved one or a close friend or just someone intimate, or even himself. It might have been his own mirror, right, reflecting his true qualities. And he built, must have built capacity such that even if the camera doesn't press record mistakenly, because his true identity, like through his lens, through the mirror, he has done this thing over again and he's good at it, he knows it. The camera he will do it again. And even if the camera forgets to press record the second time, he can still do it again. It's just who he is. Like, whether the camera presses record or not, it doesn't change the fact that this guy can do this thing. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. Whether the camera presses record for the world to see, his own mirror, his own camera, his mirror, has already proved to him that he can do this thing. It's just, he has already reflected to him that this is who you are, guy. So when you go outside, you can now do it as many times as you want to the world, because this is just who you are. You are good at this thing already. You can only get better at it, right? If you keep working on yourself. But this is who you are. You are just good at it. So keep at it and you'll be better at it. So think about it. Who are the people you admire the most? It's probably not because of, their wealth, riches or what they have. It's probably because of that little act of kindness, that word of wisdom, that word they said, that kind word they said to you when you were down, that word of wisdom, that integrity, that little punctuality. Those little things that make you hold them in high esteem. Many times, those are the things that matter. Many times, those are the things that make people find you useful and valuable, not really about money or what you have. So think of your core values like a bank account. Every time you act in alignment with them, you make a deposit. Anytime you compromise them, you make a withdrawal. If you're not careful, you might just go bankrupt. You might just go bankrupt on integrity. You might just go bankrupt on honesty. You might just go bankrupt on kindness, whichever one it is that, people that you stand by, those things that you're supposed to stand by, right? I'm saying this to say that it's not something you can say, oh, today I'll work in alignment, tomorrow I'll compromise. No, if this is who you are, if this is what you have chosen to stand by, and I'm not even trying to force you to choose it right now, but I'm telling you that they can make you valuable, right? So if you decide and you choose to live by these things, please remain consistent living by them. You do not really, for a person that wants to be valuable, you really do not have a choice saying, oh, today I'll live by integrity, tomorrow I'll compromise, today I'll be kind, tomorrow I'll compromise. Like that illustration I gave, you might just go bankrupt. So aim at making more deposits than withdrawals, okay? Number two, skills. And I'm not just talking talents, right? While talents are good, talents are important, talents are like your natural giftings, things that you can do for Africa, right? The skills are, developed. So for your talent to be valuable, you want to be able to develop certain skills that are in line with your talent. Then you can consider that talent valuable. All right. So think about David in the Bible. Let's consider David in the Bible. First Samuel 16. Bible tells us that David was so skilled, and then there's a version of the Bible that calls the kind of music David played good music. So it means that even if they gave birth to David, to be a natural musician, for his kind of music to be considered good, it means that he developed it to a certain level such that he could play for Almighty Saul, and Saul will be healed of his infirmity. And another thing we need to know is Saul could have afforded, the most expensive kind of treatment, but at that point in time, David's skill was valuable, to Saul, was valuable to Saul. So you see that things as little as developing a skill can make us valuable. Us, and I'm speaking to myself also, can make us valuable, right? So you want to, go back and research in your area of expertise, in your sector of work, in the tech world, in the fashion world, in what are those sectors in the fashion world, even in the health sector, in the tech world. What valuable skills can I learn to develop myself, right? I remember when I was making, some form of research. I think at the beginning of the year, when I was making research at the beginning of the year, to know what to focus on and what, not to put too much energy. One of the key words I put in the search box was valuable, right? You want to be able to do that as well. So when you're searching, what valuable skills can I learn, in this sector? You put your sector in the tech sector. Sometimes you can even go for that to stress in 2025, because the world is evolving. What was valuable yesterday might not be valuable today, and it's as simple as that. So I cannot say, oh, I will just close my ears or close my eyes to the fact that the means of publicity now has gone beyond newspapers and billboards and flyers. I now have to do content. I have to do not just content, but creative content. Not like those things don't work anymore, but this is what is working now. So I cannot just cross my leg and say, oh, I'm going to hold on to that, right? So that's just by the way. Anyways, the point is, know, research to know what skills are valuable right now. In this century, in 2025, what skills are valuable? What skills can I learn that are valuable to this line of career that I have chosen? And how can I then, if you want to take it a step further, you can now do further research on how can I apply these skills? Like, what are these skills? Where can I find courses? Maybe you can start with free courses before you can now go ahead to, go for the paid courses. But what the most important thing is finding this course, finding these skills first, where you can learn them, and then taking the step further by actually learning them, and then a step further by actually applying them, then you're on your way to being valuable, because every skill you learn increases your value. Number three, relationships matter. You don't become valuable in isolation. Relationships truly, truly, truly matter. Like I softly mentioned earlier, true value comes from, what you give, not necessarily what you take. And that's why you cannot totally talk about, relationships without talking about humility. And we see in the Bible, John chapter 13, where Jesus washed the feet of his disciple. And one part of that scripture that interests me the most is the fact that the Bible says Jesus took, a towel, not just that he washed their feet, he took a towel from off his shoulder and then he used it to wipe their feet. And I'm like, oh, that's so sweet. What is it? What kind of love, for people? What kind of love? What kind of humility, could make Almighty Jesus do something as maybe what some other people would call demeaning as that? It's just humility. He was really humble. He was full of so much love and humility, and that he brought himself, to that point where he can come closer to his disciples, relate to them better by washing their feet. Have you ever had someone point to your life in a way that changed you, like changed you thoroughly? Like, have you ever had that kind of person, you turn to and you're strengthened? That group of people you share your burdens with and you're lifted. Like that kind of um, that kind of feeling is priceless. That kind of feeling is actually priceless. So you don't just want to be that person that is receiving. Once you received enough, there's a point where you too you need to share, right? So I'm talking about you being intentional about community. I'm talking about you being intentional about networking. And I'm not just talking about like informal, on an informal level, even on a formal level. Remember that illustration I talked about, that guy that squeezed himself to that event, with his importance badge, without him being valuable. So some little skills like, networking, maybe could have saved him, right? So I'm talking about the intentionality, being intentional about learning, how to network, learning how to actually be in a community, grow in a community, how to, make yourself available for mentorship, make yourself open to being loved and being cared for, even though, yeah, there's a place for boundaries, yes, but making yourself open. Some people are just, they just don't want to be loved. I don't know how to put it, but they build so much wall around people actually loving them and loving them genuinely, and it might not help so much, right? So you want to be in a place where you are open to relationship, people that you have checked and you've seen that, oh, you're safe with these people. Be open to them. Be open to them. Be open to people, and also give to people. When you get to a point where you feel like you have to share, whether it's resources like financial resources, mental resources, or otherwise, any way you can share, think about, when you think about relationships, think about sharing, think about giving. Like Jesus, our example, think about giving. No, not just receiving. See, Valentine just passed now. One gender like that, I will not mention that. I've already mentioned it, my gender. Majority, a high percentage of my gender will sit down and cross their leg and expect to receive, but not even make an effort to actually also give. So what is a relationship when it's just one-sided, when it's just one person that is receiving? Then it's not a relationship. While you open yourself up to receiving love, receiving care, receiving, community, receiving mentorship and help, you to position yourself in a place where you also give. That is what makes it a relationship. Remember what I said. You cannot be valuable in isolation. You need people. We need each other.
Number 4 and the last, legacy. CCI people, Celebration Church International people watching this by now, they should be blushing, because why not? Oh my God. Your true value is seen in the legacy you leave behind. Are you influencing your world positively or you're just existing? I'll always say, if you've heard me say this before, that you're too small to be the reason and the only reason for your existence. You want to be a person of value, then you should start thinking in the line of legacy. You want to be a person of value, then think legacy. Think legacy. Think about what you're going to leave behind. When people, remember you, what do you want them to remember you for? Right? When people think about you, what do you want them to remember you for? Yeah. So you should be thinking in that direction right now. If you want to be a person of value, think, what can I do now? You see, that's the thing about legacy. While, yes, there's a greater vision, at the end of the day, you want to have done this and that and that. You want to be able to start now with the little that you have, with the little resources that you have. You don't wait to say, oh, when I get married, I'll do this thing. Or when I have all the money, I'll eventually do this thing. Or when I get the sponsors, I'll do this thing. No, you start now. You start now with the little that you can do. I remember when I knew I'd always wanted to reach young people, and I had just finished, I think, service, or no, I just graduated from school, from university, and my heart was burning. Like, the desire was there, like, that kind of burning desire. I'm like, I don't have anything. I don't have any money, I don't have any resources. And then I thought to myself, yes, you actually do not have money, but you have people. So what did I do? I took my phone, I reached out to my people, my family, and my friends that were around at the time. And I said, see, this thing is burning in my heart. Can we come together and put a project together and do this and do this and do that? And then I thought, another thing is, where can we use? We don't have money to rent a place. And then I remember, wait, I finished from a particular school. I can write to my secondary school and as an alumni, and maybe I would have their ear. And I just took that step. What's the worst that would happen? I asked myself, what's the worst that would happen? And I eventually wrote to the school, and of course the school invited us, the school allowed us to come. And that was the first time I ever had an outreach. It was in my alma mater, my secondary school. And I thought, that was when I thought to myself, truly, anything is possible with people. People are one of my greatest assets. I don't joke with, that gift of people, that human resource, that, human resource, yeah, it's an asset to me, because even when you look around and you feel like, oh, I do not have the financial resources, you always have people. People can give you ideas, people can support you, people can even make the financial resources available. So do not undermine where you are at the moment. Start where you are. This point is a pointer. This point is a pointer. Hey God. This point is actually to emphasize that you can start small. You can start where you are. You can start gathering the people in your street. You can start gathering the people in your compound. You can start with your WhatsApp status. You can start by, if you have the creative ability, to start by putting content together, to promote that line of purpose, your line of purpose. You see why you need to also develop skill. You see why you need, these things are just intertwined. You need relationships, you need skill, you need to be good character, because you don't even want to be gathering people with bad character. What do you want to pour into them? How do you want to do it? So yeah, start small. You can actually start small. You can actually start where you are. What's important is you have the mindset of legacy. That is when you are ready to become a valuable person. You're ready to walk the road of value. You're ready to walk the road of being valuable when you think legacy. Because at the end of the day, what matters is the value you left behind, the impact you left behind, the legacy you left behind. So I'm asking you today, yes, you, what difference can you start making now? What is that thing that you can start doing right now, not tomorrow, like right now? What is that first step you can take? Wherever you are, just start and be the light.
So in conclusion, when you give value, you become more valuable. And don't get me wrong, it's not about being perfect or being absolute or being or coming correct all the time, but it's about learning, it's about growing, and it's about deciding to, live an impactful life. It's about deciding to be a person of impact. Your value is not what you have or what you possess. Rather, it's what you have become and what you give. That's what really truly makes you valuable. Okay? So please, I'd like you to tell me what step you're going to take, to becoming valuable. As in going forward from now henceforth, what are you going to do differently? What step, what, different thing are you going to do, towards, becoming a person of value, towards becoming a valuable person. Okay? I know you're going to do that. Okay, so thank you so much for staying up to this point. I hope you got value from this video. Okay, so if you did, please do well to share, engage, subscribe if you have not. By the way, I don't think you should even be watching this if you have not subscribed. Please do subscribe if you have not, and share so that other people can come in contact with this valuable resource. Okay, so thank you so much. Until some other time, God bless you.